Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, the 23rd of July, 2021. It's Friday morning. It's been a hell of a week. It's been the end of lockdown this week, or you say that. Basically, what did people call it? They called it Freedom Day. And it's one of the things that I've got my mask here somewhere, but I still, when I go to pick up my coffee, I'll be honest, I still kind of like to wear mine in open spaces or public spaces with lots of people. But it's been a really interesting week, I think, for everyone just generally in kind of society. So one thing that I do every week, so I do interviews on Mondays and I do classroom sessions through the week. But on Friday mornings, I do a bit of a live Q&A where you're more than welcome if you get involved in the chat. It should pop up about here. And that's across LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and a few others as well. And basically, yeah, my name's Steve Pugh, so I'm a chartered mechanical engineer. I have a business course called the Roadmap MBA. I launched it publicly in February, and it's now in 22 different countries, which is cool. And one of the things that we do, it's all about trying to make business education accessible. So for me, for many years, for too long, there's a lot of restrictive barriers around education, but business education in general, where actually, you know, a lot of people want to either progress their career or grow their business or do whatever kind of works for them. But often there are lots of issues that you almost discover over time that traditional MBAs are extremely good, but they often take 2 years of your time, or they're very expensive, or whichever, which either that, you know, really hurts for kind of poorer communities or time poor people who could be parents, people that work multiple jobs or whichever. And the other thing as well is just making business education accessible in terms of the language and the content as well. So in a lot of business books, it might be 400 pages, very detailed and quite techy on certain things. But again, that really kind of hurts a lot of people, and it discounts a lot of people that might not treat themselves as academic. But really what I try and do is break things down to make things as simple as possible, but make it accessible both in terms of written word and the textbook, and it's nice and colourful and stuff, but also in terms of live streams and stuff as well that you can actually get involved with. Good morning, Simon, as always. And then likewise, you can watch stuff on video so you can hear me kind of talk about different concepts. And then also in the classroom sessions, and Simon joined me for 12 p.m. last week, is that actually we do a one-to-one or a group kind of session where we actually make these skills and techniques, which are all the best from around the world, relevant to you and whatever you're doing at the moment. But actually, when you talk it through with someone, it's that interactivity in many ways is the USP of the course. That, you know, this is what I do. So what we're on to, it's 9:02. So every week I kind of cover some of the recap of the week on stuff that I do. The reason why I do that is because you get far too many kind of business coaches and consultants and different people that kind of talk the talk, but they don't actually grow and scale their own business. They don't actually do anything themselves of, in my opinion, real kind of note. So what I like to do is make myself accountable, tell you about stuff that I've done. Chances are you'll probably see it, you know, in terms of production and just news releases and stuff as well. But again, what it does is that I think people often, especially on social media, they try and pretend to be something they're not, or they try and pretend to be perfect, when actually in the real world that can actually be quite damaging, because if you perceive that everyone else is this perfect person that's doing all this stuff and why are they being successful and you're not, often that's not the real kind of case, and that's not often true. So what I like to do is actually, you know, be honest about stuff that I've done. When I've done these in the past, I've had the camera go off, I've had this thing fall over, but the point is I'm just honest about what I'm doing, but I also share the updates just because it might give you some inspiration and ideas as well. Good morning, Jonathan, as always. Feel free to both say where you're from, plug your business. The camera flash of death has just come up. I'm going to leave it now because I think it just could be a blip, but we'll wait and see. No, it's happened twice, 3 times, so I'm going to go back. There we go. I promise what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to switch my cables around. This is actually a HDMI cable, which I think is struggling with the movement. So I tell you what, I'm going to do some rogue. I was going to say I'm just going to stop the camera and hope that fixes it, but I think I've got a dodgy connection, so please bear with me 1 second. There we go. Hopefully that'll work. It's exactly what I was saying, because I'm a real person. When people actually try and do live streaming and classroom sessions and stuff as well, almost the fancier the setup, the more things there are to go wrong. But likewise, this is part of the learning curve, that if you're trying to, you know, push the boundary and push the envelope about what's possible, you're going to have some mistakes, or things are going to happen that you can't predict, but these, you know, things just kind of happen. So what I'm going to talk about this week, I've got a few things kind of lined up which should be quite interesting. One of them, the first one, is you might have seen a press release that I did which went out last week, I think. It was all about how when the roadmap had hit 19 countries. And what I was keen to do, and I'll talk about later, is almost it's the importance of actually not being afraid to do PR and actually kind of working on your own stuff and actually talking about it, but almost getting the public endorsement to do that. So that post through the media agency that I work with called Harvey and Hugo, it went out to about 18, 20 different kind of regional media outlets and people and stuff. But often Charlotte, who runs Harvey and Hugo, has this thing called PR Your PR, where basically I then shared that link. And it got about 13,500 views, about 160 likes as of this morning. But it was just really important to kind of, share that process that actually for you and your business and what you're trying to do. Never be afraid to actually kind of talk about it as well. And, almost do your own PR. And obviously I can help you kind of do that. But it was just the idea of it's something I did that kind of worked. Yes, Denise. Denise loves calling me the business sat nav. And it is true, you always do have dodgy connections. I think it's a dodgy cable. What I'm going to do, because I have two cameras, swap them around. I think the big chunky one, which is the HDMI cable, doesn't like to be moved because I have a moving camera. Not at the moment, but anyway. So this week I've also got to meet some new people. So in the business centre where I'm based at the moment, some really good people that obviously it turns out there's a lot of people that kind of watch the stream but don't interact. So I'd love it if you do ever watch any of these just to comment or like or say hello, because I'm kind of stood here in a room doing my thing with my coffee. But actually I love the interaction. It is normally Jonathan, Simon, Denise and a few others as well. But I'd always welcome people who kind of get in touch. In terms of the roadmap and stuff I've been doing, I'm heavily working on version 2 at the moment, but I'm really looking at like sustainable packaging. So this is from Nike. With the current roadmap packs, when I send them out, whereas I'll go and get one. There we go. So they do come in a nice box and they come in a nice pack and that kind of thing. But the truth is, after it kind of, you receive it and the box is there to protect the book when it kind of gets sent out, it's almost waste, and I hate wasted packaging. So actually the thought of going a more sustainable route, yes, it should reduce cost, but it'll reduce paper and actually make it the whole course is printed on sustainable forestry kind of materials anyway. But actually I'm just really working on trying to improve the business and stuff like that as well. And then last but not least, before I go into the content for this week, I'm currently reading this book by a lady called Kiko Matthews. She actually very kindly sent me a signed copy, and Kiko basically suffered with a brain tumour and she had some kind of problems, but then went on to row across the Atlantic in record time following brain surgery. So it's a really inspiring book. I'm about halfway through at the moment. I will do a book review after it's kind of done. But again, it's that kind of thing of just, I love to, kind of just get inspiration from different people and that kind of thing. Actually, no. I was going to say I was going to risk making the camera move again, but I won't. It doesn't seem to have cut out recently, so I'm going to kind of stick with it as it is. So today I'll be fixed, but I'll make some changes for next week. But how is everyone? How's everyone's week been? I'd love to kind of know. It's been quite a tough week for me, long hours, but touch some wood, it's all kind of starting to pay off, which is cool. As of Monday, the interview's coming back. So my interview on Monday is with a chap called Darren Tate of Suitability, really top bloke. And in what he does, it's all about helping people feel confident and actually give them a better chance of success, trying to get back into work. And what they do, he'll tell us on Monday, is actually source, either funded or otherwise, basically clothing, suits, outfits to really help people get back into jobs. I thought it'd be a really interesting interview, both to share his story, as I always kind of do, but then likewise as well, just to kind of find out more about him and how he got started in the charity and almost raise awareness on that one as well. So that'll be Monday, 4 p.m, and hopefully that one is interesting. The live classroom sessions, I purposely started to launch quite a few different sessions, largely for people around the world, that in a classic case, you have to build it before they all come. So with the desire to build a genuine kind of global kind of business course, it's fine doing 3 p.m. sessions on a Tuesday if you're in the UK, but if you're in Australia or India or China, that's not ideal. Or likewise in America, where that's like 5 a.m. So what I wanted to do was set up sessions, which in terms of the UK times are Tuesday at 3, Tuesday at 8 p.m, so that's an evening session. You've got 7 a.m. Thursdays, which is really good if you fancy getting up early, and then midday today on Fridays. And the idea is you've got a really good spread of classroom sessions that you can join whenever you want throughout the week, just to kind of bounce some ideas off. Denise is definitely one of my regulars, but it's always about how just it's taken the business concepts that you can learn from anywhere, but really kind of making it suitable, applying it to you, figuring out how we use it. And then the other thing that we've started to do as well is give people homework in terms of things that I think they should do to make that next step in their business or career. So Simon, if we're going to speak later, hopefully he will have done his list of potential podcast guests and people to kind of talk to. And the idea is, again, that everyone who's on the course is arguably at a different stage of their business or career. So actually what they should do next is all different for everyone. So this isn't generic homework and it's all kind of optional, but it's just the idea of often people just want confidence in what to do next and stuff as well. Okay, so the big one, which I'll talk about, which is cool. So basically, I have a new partnership with a fantastic company called Harvey and Hugo, who based out of Darlington. I've known the owner, Charlotte Nichols, for probably about 10, 12 years now, from when I was back at the Tees Valley LEP, so I was local authority on Teesside, on Tees Valley. And basically Charlotte started this business that do PR, social media, marketing support, and lots of really kind of good stuff. And they actually do my stuff as well. So for instance, the press release that went out, which got really kind of good traction last week, that was all via Harvey and Hugo. And basically announced partially yesterday, but mostly kind of today, is us starting to work together. And this is me under my consultancy. What I do is my kind of day job when I work with different people. But actually this on two fronts means that I'm kind of sold out now. I'm very selective about the companies that I actually work with hands-on, because I have to really kind of buy into their vision, their values, who they are, what they do and how they work. And Harvey and Hugo, I'll be honest, kind of tick all the boxes. That it's a really good team, really good like moral values and ethics and stuff. So you might see a press release come out later today all about us working together. You'll probably see me post it on the different accounts, but it's something that we've been talking about for quite a while, and it's really great to kind of kick it off. And just to explain some of the backstory, so I'll be doing almost sales consultancy for the team, where you've got a fantastic team, like superb at PR, social media, marketing and stuff. And I'm going to bring a bit more of the commercial angle to that, help them with sales and basically help them grow the business as well. And again, part of the reason with the roadmap is that you get to learn from someone that kind of does this and gets paid to do this for a living. That it's putting my neck on the block, if you want to put it that way, where actually if I can't deliver, my business fails. But actually, because I do this stuff all day, every day, and I teach the theory, actually, you know, it hopefully gives you more confidence that when, for Denise and a few of the guys, when we actually kind of cover a lot of these things, when we teach sales within modules 9, 10, 11, as it's coming from someone that actually gets paid to do this on a day rate and achieve results quickly, hopefully it kind of gives you a bit more confidence as well. So yeah, with Harvey and Hugo, you might see a press release come out soon. And if you've got any questions, drop me a message. I'm just going to catch up in the chat. Good morning, Tony. Hi, Tony. Oh, no, feel free, again, with any of the stuff that we do with the roadmap, you can join for 2 minutes, 2 hours, drop in, drop out. And that's also true with the kind of classroom sessions as well. But no, cool. I appreciate everyone. I need to talk about breakfast, business solutions this morning, eggs and frogs for breakfast. Cool. No, perfect. Okay, well, guys, what I'm going to do is jump on to the main topic of what I said I would talk about today. So I finished this book last week and it's called Winning by a guy called Tim Grover. So I'm a big basketball fan. I'm actually a basketball kind of coach as well, but it's kind of my thing. So basically Tim actually is like a physical trainer, but he worked with Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, quite a few of the really big names in sports. And his two books, which I've now both read, one was called Relentless, and this one about winning. And basically it's all about mindset and different things, but actually there was one particular concept in this that I actually thought I'm going to talk about that on the live stream. And it's basically it's called the four rings of winning. And I actually just thought it was a really interesting concept just to kind of get through and almost talk about. So essentially what you have, So successful people often have a lot of things in common. People always think, oh, are they just lucky? And I must admit, some people are. But often, I think it was a chat I had yesterday, was actually you kind of create your own luck. And what was interesting just within the book is almost talking about how actually if you want to be really successful and achieve your goals, there's certain things that you really want to try and push on and do. So the first one, fix my page, is to do with talent. And basically everyone has some form of talent. You know, they might be talented at different things, but actually it's really important to understand that almost everyone has some sort of skill and stuff that they can use. But then if you're trying to evolve that through, and obviously we're going to gradually work up to almost like your top 1-2% of people that really kind of achieve and succeed. What those people also have is intelligence. And it's funny that, yes, your ability to solve problems and figure things out and actually just figure out, wherever you are and what to do next is really important. But almost that's a given. And like, even when I was doing my PhD, you get so many people that actually are very talented and they're obviously very smart people, but they actually miss the last two things, which actually I almost think are really important. The next one is actually to do with competitiveness. So again, if you have all the talent in the world, you're really smart, you're even competitive, or actually, you want to beat other people and you want to create the best business in the world, or you want to create a charity which helps 1 million people, or whatever it is that you want to do. These things all help, and actually it's really important, and these are all things that you kind of need. But the one thing which is the real key to it, which I think a lot of people give up, is right in the middle. Is also resilience. So even the best people in the world who are extremely talented, they're intelligent, they're competitive, and they always try and win the best, be the best and that kind of thing. But it's that resilience that is really often the real kind of key driver between real, genuine winners and people that go on to be successful. And that's true in sports or business or whichever. But it was that kind of thing that often you see people with these two, and they are smart people, but actually they don't necessarily have the desire to win or outcompete other people. And actually, if you're competitive and you have people in mind that you want to beat, I guess, it almost gives you that extra drive. But then when things go wrong, which they will, has to me, has to everyone, it's the resilience to almost get yourself back up again is super important. We have the Olympics, which I believe kick off today. I think the opening ceremony might be tomorrow. But I remember, what was it, a few years ago, Tom Daley, who's a very famous Olympic diver here in the UK, he'd obviously trained for years. He had the skill, he had everything he needed. But for whatever reason, he just had a bad day, a bad dive, and was out the medals. The desire, when you have setbacks, to actually keep going and actually, it's the resilience is often the real difference between winners and losers. And actually it was both true with Tim Grover's book, but actually you could also argue it's true with Kiko's book as well. So for instance, if you're diagnosed with different types of brain tumours, and that's a major setback, she had to obviously go to hospital and went through a traumatic thing. She could have given up on that point, but she didn't. She had a mission. She really knew what she wanted to do. Very physically talented lady as well. The fact that, she's one of the best rowers in the world. But actually, it was just a really fantastic book that I'm doing. But it was just the point of where a lot of people, especially in business, they have tough times. We all do. But it's the resilience to basically keep getting back up again is really, I think, what makes the difference between people being successful or not. And again, one of the big things that you see online quite a lot is that you see a lot of people that talk about how it's get rich quick and do this, and then this is how you hack the algorithm and stuff. But what that does, it misses the key components of basically hard work. It is hard, it's tough, it's long hours, it's that kind of thing. It's not going to be easy. And then when things go wrong, which they will, be it your camera failing or whatever, you just crack on and just keep coming back the next week and that kind of thing as well. So I just thought it was a really interesting concept to talk about. So from the book, I actually gave this a 7 out of 10. It might have been an 8. No, I think it was a 7. And that's for people that are really interested in sports, or instance for me with basketball. But actually for most people, I'll be honest, it's probably a 5. It's good, but it's not great. But actually just that key concept of the 4 rings of winning, I thought was kind of quite interesting. I'm just going to check the comments again before I finish. So what are we on, 9:18? Oh, cool. No, we're good. If anyone has any comments or questions, is there anything you want me to talk about, please kind of drop it in the chat. And if not, actually, it's funny, I'm kind of getting these quicker every week, but I also partly enjoy that because I've been working a lot with a company in South Korea that are really great guys, but we've got a big project on at the moment, so that's, working hard on that. And again, I love working with different people around the world that if you ever interact with any of the content and stuff, please reach out. I'd love to kind of talk to you. And then likewise, as I'm going through this same kind of process, learning and improving the roadmap, because I'm currently working on version 2, everyone that's ever bought a course or some of the key kind of followers and stuff, I'll definitely send a free kind of copy to. But it's making it better as well, because actually when we started to go through module 9, which is all to do with sales approaches with Catherine and then a few of the guys on Tuesday, What was interesting, obviously, when you kind of go through and you teach a course and you work through it, like there's a hell of a lot of information here that, you know, to write from scratch was quite difficult. But what was quite interesting was just a lot of people's businesses have both a B2B angle where you're selling business to business and a business to consumer angle. And the things are different. So one of the things I've now started to change for version 2 is actually putting in a B2B or a B2C stamp on different concepts, just to help make it easier for different people to understand actually how does this apply to their business, does it not, etc. But it's that kind of learning and iteration which hopefully makes the course better. That, you know, it'd be great if you can join us, and Denise is always one of the fantastic people that joins every week, and she's one of our big champions, so thank you, Denise. But we love to have more people on the course, and it genuinely is useful. And that's one of the other things I've done this week as well. I really kind of integrated and upped my Trustpilot account. So when I started the business, I set one up because trust is really important to build any kind of business. But I'd also rebranded from Growth Strategy Roadmap to Roadmap MBA as well. So actually I needed to do some stuff behind the scenes with the people there. So there's a new Roadmap MBA Trustpilot account, which hopefully will, you know, grow over the next few years. I think there's 14 5-star reviews, 1 2-star review, which was from quite a few years ago, that said the graphics were great, but the content wasn't. They thought it was overhyped, which is fair enough. But then that's the point, is that you kind of learn and improve. I'm just going to check the comments. Great B2B, yes. So Denise, in your example, because you make quality machine parts and stuff, you're all B2B, which I can happily apply to you. But it's interesting when in the same classroom you have people at different angles. It's great to be able to talk and kind of walk things through. But a lot of people, again, I think 90% of people just like having the textbook to learn from home. And that's where I'm trying to kind of learn and improve as well. So at 9:21, I think I'm going to call it quits there. It's Friday. Have a wonderful day. If you've got anything exciting planned for the weekend, stay safe, have a great time. And if you ever want to work on your personal development or anything like that, please feel free to reach out. Okay, cool. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon. All right, cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.